Before I jump into SingleStore, let's get a quick overview of today. I'm going to talk about our product, its core capabilities. Abhinav is going to give you a great demo of just how easy it is to get started, and I'm also going to give you a peek at the product roadmap. Now, before I get into SingleStore, one point that I want to get across is this is not our first rodeo. Our customers are famous brands that you have heard of. I'm talking about Cisco, Comcast, Cigna. These are just the C's. Goldman Sachs, GE, Kellogg's, NBC. And on top of this, companies and brands that are so famous that we can't even put them on this slide, but I bet you use their products every day. So let me talk to you a little bit about SingleStore and why these great companies trust us. SingleStore is a database to transact, analyze, and contextualize data in real time. Let's tease that apart, shall we? Transact, analyze, and contextualize. What do I mean by transact? I mean, we can do fast reads and writes. We're a distributed SQL database. So you've got a single endpoint. You can scale out as much as you want without worrying about sharding or things like that. We can handle as high concurrency as you need, 4 nines of availability. You can trust us with your mission critical apps. I'm talking about analyze. Like, what do I mean by analyze? I mean, we can ingest data ultra fast. We can do super fast analytical queries. And on top of that, we can take ETL jobs and run them 10 times as fast, which means they cost 1/10 as much. Anytime you take a job, you make it take less time, costs a fraction of the amount because you pay by the hour with the CSPs. And this allows us to do real-time analytics and mission-critical apps. And as if that's not enough, generative AI, we've got vector search, we've got regular metadata filtering and keyword search all together in a platform that can power your generative AI apps. All of this goodness, if you want us to host it in the cloud in our SaaS product, great. If you want to manage it yourself in the cloud or on-prem or some combination, great. We got you covered in all of those form factors. Deploy it however you want. How do we do it? Let's take a look under the hood. The data begins its life in our pipelines. This is our mechanism for the ultra-fast ingest, which we are so proud of and our customers love so much. The data arrives in memory, the first layer of our data hierarchy. All right. And in fact, when we were born, MemSQL, this was the only thing we had. That's why it was called MemSQL. And man, have we added a lot since then. And this is the support for our ultra-fast reads and writes and ingestion. All right. But that wasn't enough. We want to do analytics too, right? So we add our persistent cast, which is our middle tier, the disk level, where we have a column store. And in fact, we have a column store and a row store together in the same table type that we call universal storage. We have a patent on that. That is how we're able to do transactions and analytics at the same time. But you might say, well, I've got a ton of data. I've got too much data. I can't fit it all. We got you covered with that too in cloud object stores. With our bottomless storage, as much data as you have separated from compute, you can have cold storage and scale as much as you want with SingleStore. All of this, the structure of the database is with nodes we call leaves, and then we've also got aggregators. They aggregate the queries. Many users you want can access these queries. And what does this allow us to do to bring us back? What are we accomplishing? Transact, analyze, and contextualize data in real time. All right, let's go deeper on these capabilities. All right, there are some databases that can transact. You've heard of them, MySQL, Oracle, Aurora, all these databases. They can do really fast writes and reads, high concurrency, highly available, all these great capabilities. But you know what they can't do? Analytics. As soon as those databases try to do analytics, wheels come off. Doesn't work. All right. Now you got these analytics databases like Redshift and Snowflake, Teradata. They can do complex queries, aggregations, easy to scale, but they can't do those transactions I just talked about. SingleStore is the only one that can do both. And what does it allow us to do that we can do both? We can ingest extremely fast in our pipelines and then run sub-second analytical queries right after you ingested on that data. allowing us to do real-time analytics. We can also take these huge ETL jobs you got running in Hadoop or Spark or whatever platform you're using, and you run them in 10 times as fast, which means they cost 1/10 as much. Do you want more time? Do you want more money? These interesting to you? We have got you covered. Right? So what does this end up looking like in our customer system? Well, there's a few different form factors we get deployed in. One of them is you got some SaaS apps. I need the transactions. I got some analytics in them. Boom, we got you covered. We've got analytics inside of your SaaS apps and data-intensive applications. A lot of our customers, they've got some dashboards. They got to be ultra real time, really up to the second. All right. Or sometimes, it could be in a tool like, Tableau or Power BI. Could be they made the dashboard custom because it's so important to their business. Our customers do this all the time. We've got you covered, real-time analytics for dashboards. As I mentioned before, I've got an ETL job. Like it's taken forever, like Hadoop and Spark. They're so slow. It costs so much money. Speed it up. Huge cost reduction, huge time saver at the same time. Now, some customers are like, Dave, well, I kind of want to do all these things. I've got some apps over here and I've got some dashboards over here. And I have this job that takes forever. We call that pattern the operational database pattern. We have a ton of customers doing that. And that's all of those things. So yes, you can do that. In fact, that's the whole point. That's why it's called SingleStore. It's the one database that can do all of these things. Right? And where do we see this? All over the place. Fraud detection. I've got a transaction. Is it fraudulent or not? How long do I have to figure that out? No time at all. It's got to be real time, sub-second. All right. I've got a recommendation engine. I want to recommend things to my customers. It has to be instantaneous. I've got tracking ads or cookies or anything like that all over the internet. Ad networks, bidding, all of that stuff, all that ad tech and martech. Got you covered. Financial quotes got to be up to the second. I might want to do analysis on that stuff. We take care of that all the time. Cybersecurity, somebody's trying to break into your network. How do you see that? A bunch of events. You got to sift through them all. You got to look for anomalies in real time. We do that. Supply chain. What am I going to put on the truck? I got to figure out at the last minute, like when I'm going to load this truck, I'm going to load these inventories, I'm going to reorder these items. This is a real-time operation. It saves our customers millions of dollars, all right, because of our capabilities. All right. Internet of Things monitoring. I got, some devices on the edge of the network. Or I've got, it could be anything. It could be a hard drive, could be an oil rig. Who knows? I want to monitor it. Or I wanted to monitor the network that it's on, or I want to monitor my AV network. All these things is a real-time analytical operation. And there's so many more. Another one is generative AI, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. Let's give you an example of a customer that has taken advantage of this. Okay, LiveRamp had this big, crazy Hadoop job. They've got all of these files coming from their customer's network on AWS or wherever. They got to ingest all the files. This was taking 15 hours. It takes 5 minutes now. You understand how much money and time this saves them. They're saying, $5 million. It's like they're getting paid millions of dollars to use our product. 75% TCO reduction, 179 times faster, this job. This is the power of SingleStore and why we are trusted and loved by all those big brands I told you about at the beginning. All right, now, as if that wasn't enough, let's talk about generative AI. And the last piece of the puzzle was to contextualize. There are vector databases out there. Pretty much all of them are going to allow you to store vectors and search them. Some of them, the really advanced ones, might say, oh, and you can do text search as well. Or you can even do, metadata filtering, which is just regular SQL filtering. Not all of them have that. Some of them have that. Let me tell you what these databases don't have. Okay. Let me tell you what SingleStore has all those things. All right. And what are the other things that SingleStore has that those databases don't have? Deploy however you want. They're probably picking one option, all right? Because these are all new databases that have just been born. They're either only in the cloud, they're only on-prem. They don't have multiple solutions. Okay. They certainly are not doing analytics and transactions at the same time that I just explained to you a minute ago. Okay. Windowing functions. Yeah, right. Like they'll get to that in like 3 years. Okay. Sure. Governance and security are back. Come on. That stuff's going to come way later. We've got structured data. We've got JSON, geospatial, time series, key value, all these different data formats we support. All right. Those databases ain't supporting that. Okay. They also don't have joins. They don't have common table expressions, subqueries. They don't have any of this stuff. Okay. How much time is it going to take you to work with this? They certainly are not separating storage and compute. We've got isolated compute pools with workspaces. We've got bottomless storage in the cloud object store to get your scalability worked out, all figured out. We've got streaming, replace on duplicate key, merge, all of these operations that allow you to handle your real-time use case. And we do synchronous updates immediately. The moment you write, it is available. You put those vectors in, they're immediately available to read. These other ones are kind of in an eventual consistency situation where it might be behind. You might write the vectors and it's not there yet when you go to read it, which can be tough with these real-time use cases where you're serving chat, like users are in there working with it. And so all this together means you don't want to use one of these specialty vector databases. We have got you covered. All right. And our customers are already doing it. Companies like Lumana using it, video surveillance, using to search inside of the videos. Thorn is a platform for protecting kids from abuse. They're using it to match faces. LiveRamp to connect emails to each other with semantic search. Siemens also uses it for semantic search on their Pulse Analytics that they use internally to see how their employees are feeling. And Nyrus is another platform that uses visual search, and we're always adding more of these. So we have got you covered for everything I talked about. Transact, analyze, and contextualize in one place in SingleStore. Now, next, I'm going to turn it over to Abhinav to show you just how easy it is to get started with SingleStore.
Hey, thanks, Dave. If you could, okay. I was going to use the slide, but we're going to do 4 simple steps here, folks. So we're going to create a database. We're going to, first, we're going to help you sign up. We're going to create a database. We're going to load the data, and we're going to query this data. Thank you, Dave. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to help you get started. So if you've never used SingleStore, you get started at SingleStore.com, right? So SingleStore.com is our website. If you've never signed up, it's easy to sign up. You click on the free trial link. It takes you to this page. And this is where you can sign up either with your Google credentials or with your Microsoft credentials, or you can do it the old-fashioned way, your name and email address, company email address, and continue to sign in. You'll need to answer a couple of basic questions about how you're going to use this database, and you will be on your way. So it's that simple. But I wanted to show you the screen just to show you that when you sign up, you also get $600 of free credits. And credits basically is our currency where you can use these credits against database compute resources that are running for your application. So let's get into it. Once you sign in, you will come to this sort of screen, right? So this is a brand new sign in I created. So a lot of it is completely empty. What I prefer to do, first thing, like any good developer, I want to change my theme to a dark theme. So much cooler. All right. So once we have that out of the way, let me orient you to what you're seeing here. So this is our home screen. We've got an onboarding checklist. You want to note that when you sign in, you will have a few credits already. And as you complete the tasks on this onboarding checklist, these are just to help you get started. So describing your use case, creating a workspace, which I've done already. So I already gained these credits. But if you complete a tutorial, invite team members and so on, you gain access to more credits and up to a max of 672 credits. So other things you're seeing on the screen here are the left sidebar, the right sidebar. Let's go to the right sidebar first. This is our chatbot assistant to help you with any technical questions. This is not human. This is like a generative AI chatbot. You can ask technical questions, and all of the responses are based on documentation and forums and internal links that we've uploaded to as the knowledge base for this chatbot. So, what is a SingleStoreDB workspace? The chatbot pops up, and you see that this is pre-populated, the question, and Squirrel will actually analyze all the information it has and give you an answer on what it is. So there's a lot of questions I see already coming up in our Q&A. So you can actually try this while as we're going and get immediate answers. So lots of cool stuff here. I'm also going to use this chatbot to actually generate some queries. So we will see that in a bit. On the left sidebar, so there's a few things going on. So we're at the home page, we're at the start page. There's a gallery. Now these are a set of notebooks that are pre-created for you to address simple scenarios. So everything from hybrid search to getting started with notebooks, or creating your own LLM app. So it kind of gets from 101 level to like 301 level, all kinds of stuff. So today we're going to keep it very simple. On the left sidebar, you've also got your cloud navigation, your developer navigation, and monitoring and pipelines. So let's actually get right into doing, creating a notebook. Creating a database. So the way we do it in SingleStore, we have the concept of workspaces, and there's a concept of workspace group. So this is how you actually get started. So you create a workspace group, and as you see here, this defaults to group 2 because I already had a workspace group created, but you will get a chance to choose your cloud provider. So you want to specify either AWS, GCP, or Azure for this cloud trial. And you can specify which region you want to associate this workspace group with. Now, what the group does is it allows you to create your compute resources and your database, and manage them together in one place. So I'm going to leave most of these defaults on. You'll see that the workspace group is this is a summary, this is the name, and you can get started. I'm going to click on next. Now this next step is important. So this is the actual workspace that allocates compute resources to your your workspace, to your database actually. So these are the defaults I have in workspace group 2. This is a workspace 1. You'll see there's a size. Now the size of the workspace indicates how much compute and RAM you want to allocate to a database, right? So and it also aligns with how many credits you will end up using per hour. So as you can see here, the default is S00 and 2 vCPUs and 16 gigs of RAM. You can actually change this and to go way higher. In the cloud free trial that I'm using, it can go up to S16. But if you upgrade to standard or premium options, you will get other workspace sizes that are much more suitable, maybe much more suitable for your size. So I'm going to stick with S00, and I'm going to select that size. Also, you'll see here there are settings for more advanced features. So we have a proxy for MongoDB that you can connect your MongoDB applications for. If you're interested in that, you can keep that selected. Otherwise, I'm going to disable it for the purpose of this demo. And you also have an auto suspend option. Now, an auto suspend is simply to help you save compute resources and credits while you're not using your workspace. So I'm going to for this purpose, I actually don't need it. So I'm going to switch it off, but I would recommend for test dev purposes, you leave that on. We also have some sample data sets in case you're interested in pulling pre-existing data sets for a MarTech application. You can just select this and keep going. I'm going to create this workspace as we have it now. You'll notice that it is in the US West group, which was the workspace group that we had selected. So I'm going to hit create. So what this does is it starts spinning up a new cluster, a new workspace, right? So this is deploying right now, and this basically means that the compute and memory resources are being allocated. And once this is done, you will also see that you will have an option to create a database right here. This could take a few minutes, so I'm going to switch over to the workspace that I already have, which is my group 1, workspace 1. It's the exact same configuration, but I already have this going ready for this demo, right? So just imagine that workspace got created, and now you have this workspace, which is the S00. Now notice here that you have a connect option, and that what that allows you to do is you can use a SQL editor, or you can connect directly. So if you go to connect directly, you can actually connect this. Okay, you can generate a strong password, but then you can connect to using a CLI client, or any of these other options. There's a Mongo option. There's a connection to your BI tools, and you can actually choose your tool, and you'll see the connection strings there for your use. But for now, I'm going to do this much simpler. So I'm going to create the database. I have a table that I want to use to create the database. I'm going to show you that table real quick. So this is my sample data set. It's a small data set. It's Food Hub. You can liken it to a fictitious food delivery company, right? And what it's got is so this is just a CSV file. It's got orders. It's got restaurant names for those orders, cost of the order, when the order was placed, whether it was a weekday or weekend, and there's a few other fields here. So I have this CSV actually stored on my own computer, and I'm gonna use the CSV to create this database. So let's go back to our portal. I'm gonna name my database something. So let's call it Food Hub database, Food Hub underscore database. I want to make sure that I'm attaching it to the right workspace, and this is a read-write workspace. I'm going to create this database, and this database creation itself is going to be fairly quick. So once the database is created, there we go. So this is a read-write workspace that is attached to our Food Hub database. And just know that we can actually attach multiple workspaces. So as your database grows, you can add workspaces to allow you to continue to have performance for your application. So now that this is done, I'm going to show you the easiest way to get started, right? So I have the CSV file. I want to show you what we've got as a preview right now. So this is available. This is a public preview. You can actually start using it right now. This is called Stages. And what Stages is it's a simple, it's like a storage service. So if you have a data set on your own computer, you can upload it using Stages, and we will host it for you, and then you can load that data into your database. So let's see how that looks. So I have my Mac Finder window. Where I have the data set, I'm going to drop it into, so I have my food underscore order.csv data set. I'm going to drop it into the Stages upload file, and I'm going to upload this file. This is there we go. So now food hub or order.csv is on our storage service. What we can do with this is to actually create the database, right? So we can load this data to the database that we created. So let's do load to database. We choose that workspace one, we choose the database that we had created. So food hub database, and the table order kind of defaults to food hub underscore order, which was the name of the CSV file that I had selected. And see here, we are able to generate a notebook just by uploading the CSV. And this is really magical. I mean, this makes things very simple to get started. So as you see, it creates a notebook, and notebooks, just for reference, if you continue down on the left sidebar, notebooks are on your develop navigation, and you'll see notebooks. You can have personal or shared notebooks. So shared notebooks are the notebooks that are shared across your organization. So I'm in my own organization right now, and so this gets created under the personal notebook. So this is my notebook, and it's already populated. See, we've got it uses, so this first cell here, right, it creates the table, and it creates the table based on the fields that we had in the CSV. So the order ID, customer ID, all of these fields are created. Let's just run this and make sure it works. So execution and executed, right? So we have the table created. Now, this is how get so easy with stages. So the pipeline creation, stages takes care of the pipeline creation. It has specified what pipeline to create, how to load the data using stages, and there's a bunch of useful ads that it is created to make things easier for you. It's formatted the CSV as well. So let's run through this, and we've got we have loaded the data from our CSV into the table that was created in the previous cell. Now, the pipeline is, let's start this pipeline to make sure that the data is actually in our table. And we can monitor the pipeline for errors. This is a nice to have for more complicated commands. And now let's just check whether the data actually got loaded into the table we had created. So this is just a select star statement. This is 100. I don't want 100 lines here, so I'm going to limit it to 5, and just let's check if that works. Okay, so we have our data, order IDs, customer IDs, everything loaded, and it's that fast. You have a working database at this point. You can actually query this data. So that's our last step. So what would be interesting to query? As you can see, this is a simple order table. It's got restaurant names and cost of the order, and so on. So maybe we just query, and I've got this written up on my Visual Code Studio, but maybe it's just interesting to query what is, let's say, the average order value. So I'm going to copy my average order value SQL query. So let me add a query here. So what is the average order value? It's a simple select for average on the cost of the order from this table. Let's just run that and make sure that it works. So yeah, $16.49 or almost 50 cents for the average order. Now this is fairly simple. I'm going to run another simple query. What is the total number of orders on this data set that we have? So select count and the order ID, and that should work. All right, so 1,898 rows, a fairly small data set. But what if you wanted to do something a little bit more involved, right? So, and you don't really, you're not the best at SQL, like maybe like me, right? So let's see if we can use SquirrelBot to actually create a query for us. So I'm going to turn this code with Squirrel on, and I'm going to ask Squirrel to help us generate a query to run this. So let's see. So we've got what if we wanted to, so there's cuisine type, right? So what if we wanted to find out what is the most popular cuisine type for this food delivery company? So Squirrel can actually, create a query for you. It needs a little bit of handholding, but we're getting better. But let's see what kind of query you can write. So I want to specify what table this Squirrel should work with, and so I'm gonna give it that much handholding. So I have a table called Food Hub Database, and I'm gonna I have these fields which I want to use. So you may not actually need all of these fields, but I'm going to allow it to have some guidance, just like with prompt engineering. So I have a table, food hub underscore database, and food hub order, and I'm specifying the fields that I'm interested in. So let me ask Squirrel to write the query for us. So write a query to find out the most popular cuisine type. So let me say generate, and Squirrel is doing its thing. It's going to look up everything that it knows and try to generate a query for us. And let's see what it came up with. So select cuisine type from food hub order and order by count. I think, okay, so this looks okay, but let me see if it really works. So it came up with, so yeah, it added the cell and select cuisine type from food hub and group by cuisine type. I think it's missing a field, but let's see what it came up with. So it actually, oh yeah, so it if I had added account star for cuisine type, I would have also seen the number of orders that were received for the American cuisine type. But if you go back to your database, the data set, you will be able to double check that American is the most popular cuisine type that's ordered. And so there we have it. We have showed you how to sign up. We've showed you, how to load, how to create a workspace, how to create a database, how to run simple queries on your database. So with that, I think it's back to you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Abhinav. Folks, that is just how easy it is to get started with SingleStore. All right, we encourage you all to go check out our free trial. It's available to start whenever you want. Get in there and play with it yourself and let us know what you think. Now, I also want to give everybody a taste of what's coming down the pipe in the product roadmap. I'm going to cover a very small sample of what we've got. It's far too long to list all the features, but I'm going to talk about a few of my favorites. The first one is the Aura Compute Service. So you saw Abhinav working with the notebooks. So this is our ability to run custom code, which we already have. He was doing SQL. We also support Python. And this service has just been an absolute hit with our customers. So we're doubling down and we're adding a lot more. That's going to include things like memory optimized workloads. It's going to include GPU support to continue to support that generative AI use case. And we're going to continue to add features to that experience that we call Aura. One of those features, which I'm going to call out explicitly, is the Notebooks job service. So today you can go in there and you can create your different jobs, and we're going to make it that much easier for you to schedule the job inside of the notebook interface and run it however you need to in order to get your data in the right state without you having to use an outside service to schedule the job. Scope is the name of our product line for search, which is an area of great focus for us. And we've already got a ton of features there. And we're going to be adding an index approximate nearest neighbor vector search. This is a IVF, inverted file index, product quantize index, that it kind of allows you to, when you're looking for vectors, give me the vectors that are closest to the one I was looking for. Instead of an exact match, which is often what you want to do in as fast as possible time. So that's going to be part of scope, and that's coming in 8.5. That is just, it'll coming in December, so any day now. On the some other features on the core database side, we have projections. So projections today, if you have a table, you can have a shard key if you want to, group. Let's say you want to divide your data, lay it out by customer. You could shard by your customer, or you can sort key. Like often customers, want to sort on like the time that the event happened in order to make queries faster. Sometimes you want a secondary shard or sort key, and you don't want to create a whole other table. So we're going to add projections. So let's say you wanted to sort both by the time an event happened and maybe the date that that a customer was acquired. You would be able to do that by adding a projection, which is kind of like an invisible copy of the data that hides behind the scenes, and then we will automatically determine whether to use that projection as part of the query based on our query optimizer. So that's going to be a super exciting feature that's coming also in 8.5. Database branching. Now, this is an absolute game changer in terms of developer productivity. So let's say you have a database in production and you would like to do your testing and development on that database. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to start doing development against the production database? Well, that's crazy. Like you could mess up the production database. You're going to copy the whole data. That sounds like really hard. I don't want to do that. So database branch is like a copy of the database that is almost instantaneous and doesn't make a copy of the data because it is only copying like what is different. Like you create a database branch and then any writes going to that branch only affect that branch. And so this allows people to work together on a single copy of the data without interfering with each other. So let's say, you had a bunch of analysts working on, they all wanted to work on their own copy of the data, and they're all cleaning it and writing to it in their own way. They don't all have to have their own copy. They can all work off a branch of the master database and then not interfere with each other. And it's just a huge productivity booster that is going to be in private preview in 8.5. And we please contact us, current customers, if you want to try it, and it'll be GA early next year. Auto scaling. So we already have scaling of workspaces. So you can, using our management API, scale up and down as you need. But wouldn't it be great if we detected, based on the amount of demand, how much we needed to scale, and we did it for you? So we're going to be introducing auto scaling, which will allow you workspaces, within a range to scale up and down. And the middle layer is going to remain consistent in this implementation. So it'll be super fast. Data will not be shuffled around. And you'll be able to rely on that to meet the needs of your workload without having to leave the workspace at the biggest size all the time. And so it saves you money as well. The last feature I'm going to highlight is SingleStore Kai. This is our Mongo API. So if you want to, Mongo is, again, as I said before, it's one of those databases. It's great in transactions, not so great in analytics. And so if you want to do analytics on Mongo data, you can suck that data into SingleStore directly into our pipeline without doing any kind of, using any other product or in the middle, and get super fast analytics. You don't have to translate it. You can use the MQL. We've got an MQL shell in our product you can use. And it's ultra easy. And if you want to just turbocharge those slow parts of your Mongo app, then you've come to the right place. SingleStore Kai is for you.